Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. I want to thank my wife Angie for telling me to have a look at the story that I too have been seeing that's being recirculated about last year's passing of raw fruitarian Zhanna Samsonova. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And I had the courtesy of not making a response video about this last year because, you know, someone died, a mother lost her daughter, so they don't need me to like make it any worse. So here we are over a year and the story is like getting a whole new life. Anti-vegans and the media are just going almost viral with this story. Notice how all these headlines about vegan influencer. The takeaway is that they want you to believe that vegan diets are inherently deficient and can even kill you. Firstly, let's correct this notion or myth that veganism is a diet. No, it's a way of living. It's a philosophy. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. It has nothing to do with believing cooked food is bad for you and never drinking water. These are just weird beliefs that particular extreme dieters like fruitarians believe in. And to show you how extreme and restrictive her way of eating was, says she had been on a raw plant-based diet for over 10 years that consisted of fruits, sunflower seed sprouts, fruit smoothies, and juices. But it gets even worse. She had long stretches where she would practice something known as dry fasting, where she would refuse to eat or drink anything for days. Yeah, she heard that right. Fasting. We've heard of fasting before, going without food, and we know that's a very common practice amongst fruitarian and raw types. They believe they're detoxing. Their bodies are always absorbing toxins and they need to fast to get rid of the toxins and all this stuff. And some take it to the extreme by not including any water in their fasting, hence the term dry fasting. And again, several years back, and I didn't make a story about this at the time for respect for his family, but Robert Lockhart in Australia, another extreme raw fruitarian, I made videos about him back when he was alive about some of the wacky stuff he said about cooked food being like heroin, and he too died to health complications that resulted from his dry fasting. So it doesn't have a really good track record, and it shouldn't. You should never do it because it's hella dangerous. And let me just point out really quickly for any anti-vegans who are watching along, dry fasting has absolutely nothing to do with veganism, which again is a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. But Zhanna's avoidance of water wasn't limited to just when she was dry fasting. No, it goes way deeper than that. She followed some extreme restrictive, non-scientifically proven raw fruitarian propaganda that humans don't need water. We get all the liquid we need from fruit. Let me just read this to you from her Instagram, which is still up, by the way. She says, "As for not drinking water, it is a common experience among raw fruitarians. I'm not thirsty for water. I don't want to drink water. I get my water from fruits and coconuts, and I'm okay with it. When you eat cooked food, this horrible cooked food, you will be dehydrated because of the cooked food and you will need to drink water. I am sure about it because I've experienced it myself. Human beings are not drinking animals. We get our water from our food. With drinking plain water, the human body only utilizes 10% of that because of poor water structure. I'd like to see some evidence-based information supporting that number. Anyway, the superior structure of water in raw fruits is extremely hydrating. Some 90% is utilized by the human body. The cleanest, safest, purest, best water comes from the food we eat." And she ends by saying, "Stop eating cooked food. Raw is best." I'm sure even the most hardened, hateful anti-vegans out there would have to admit and agree that her decision to not drink water, especially based on these flimsy reasons, non-scientific based reasons, is a horrible decision. I mean, where are there any medical professionals and groups of health organizations saying, don't drink water, just drink juices and coconuts? And maybe, just say maybe, you anti-vegans out there, maybe this was one of many of the extreme dietary decisions that Zhanna made that had something to do with her decline rather than her decision to eat a healthy, balanced, plant-based diet. Oh no, that's not what she did. In fact, let me show you anti-vegans, if you're still watching, that your assumption that eating plants is inherently going to lead to horrible outcomes like this, despite her doing these crazy things like not eating cooked food for over 10 years, not drinking water for 6+ years, dry fasting. Let me show you what organizations of health professionals say about about plant-based diets. Are they healthy? Yes, as long as you don't do something extreme and restrictive like what Zhanna was doing. There is this general scientific consensus that a well-planned and balanced all-vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people. And let me emphasize the words for you here. Balanced, well-planned, as opposed to whatever this wacky zaniness was that she was doing. And you think I'm being too harsh with my wording here? No. Fruitarians often believe in completely wacky, zany things, like this misconception that raw vegans can never catch any diseases or colds. I've even heard some go as far as to say that raw vegan diets will reverse and cure every disease known to man. Don't believe me?
The 3 reasons why raw food truly does reverse and heal and eliminate all disease.
No, it doesn't do that. There's absolutely zero evidence-based information to support that claim. All you have is anecdotal reports and just gaslighting like what you just saw there. And unfortunately, gullible people hear this crap and believe it. And it's the spread of this dietary misinformation that directly led to Zhanna hearing about, oh, detoxing, drinking water is bad, dry fasting good, that led to her dying. And it's completely sad and ironic when I found this older Instagram post of hers complaining about so much misinformation being spread on the internet about nutrition. She's talking about how most information nowadays is predominantly governed by fear, greed, control, and manipulation, just like that raw hoax guy just showed a second ago. This has led to a flood of misinformation and contradictory information, much of which is blatantly used to confuse and overwhelm people for a particular agenda. The field of nutrition has not been spared from this, and at a time where we should be more nutritionally empowered than ever before, we have greatly lost sight of what healthy eating truly means. And just to be clear, I'm not calling Zhanna out here for being a bad person or anything. No, I find her to be a victim falling prey to widespread nutrition misinformation that's been propagated on the internet about raw fruitarian diets. I mean, there is a truth to the matter as to what constitutes healthy eating for vegans, and it's not this non-evidence-based woo-woo that cooked food is going to kill you and all this nonsense. No, there's actual science that's been done on nutrition and vegan diets. And it doesn't say to give up cooked food because it's toxic and all this crazy crap. No, it's following, again, a sensible, well-planned vegan diet. The information was out there for her, but unfortunately, she was so caught up into this raw cult-like thinking that she completely missed what a healthy vegan diet was. Speaking just purely about myself here, not speaking like on some kind of scientific footing here, but I've been vegan now for 14 plus years. I'm 57 years old. I've been eating a sensible, balanced vegan diet pretty much the whole time. I did try raw for a little bit back in like 2012. Found out it was a crap diet. Anyway, I've been sharing my blood test results here with you guys the entire time I've had our YouTube channel since 2013. Not deficient. I'm doing great. My doctors are extremely happy with what I'm doing. Most guys my age are diabetic or pre-diabetic on a bunch of meds. I have none of the above. And I'm very fit and athletic. So it just shows you that if vegan diets were inherently deficient and bring people down, it should have happened to me by now because of how old I am and how long I've been eating completely plants. Anyway, my point about making this video is not to brag about myself or anything like that. It's purely to show you anti-vegans that it's completely disingenuous and completely unfair to bring up an example of someone like Zara or any person who's doing some kind of raw fruitarian diet and not drinking water for years upon years and fasting without water, to use that as an example of how a vegan diet has failed a person. Yeah, I guess their diet was technically vegan, but these people are not vegan. They're not doing it for animal cruelty and exploitation reasons. The animals don't demand that you give up cooked food because it's impure. That's absurd. These people were following intentionally by their own choice diets that are extreme and restrictive. They're not getting enough calories, not getting enough nutrients, and therefore they had health problems. And unfortunately, Zara paid the ultimate price for following an extreme and a restrictive diet like that. So please don't try to portray this as a vegan diet or a common way that vegans eat, because all that is completely untrue. And in contrast, if you'd like to see some examples of what constitutes a well-planned, balanced, sensible vegan diet, look no further than our Happy Healthy Vegan Cookbook, which is on sale right now for the holidays, and we're going to keep the sale price in effect until all of January for Veganuary. 18 bucks for the print book. We don't have too many left, so step up, get yourself a copy before they're gone. And the ebook is $9.99. So again, big takeaways from this video is that raw fruitarianism, raw veganism, whatever you want to call it, is not veganism. It shouldn't even be called that. And all you raw fruitarian people out there, raw vegans, can you do yourselves a favor and not even call yourselves raw vegans? Just continue calling yourselves raw fruitarians. Don't use the word vegan, because most of you guys aren't vegan. I know there's a few raw fruitarians who are also vegan, but you guys are more of the exception than the rule. The reason why I ask that is because we don't want to get mixed up in your problems. Too many of you guys end up having health problems, or in some more unfortunate cases dying, and then the whole world sees the word vegan, raw vegan influencer, or vegan influencer dies or whatever, and we have to deal with the pushback against eating plants in a healthy way, which you guys for the most part were not doing. So, and all you meat eaters or anti-vegans watching, please understand the distinction between raw fruitarians and vegans. We're not the same, at least not 99% of the time. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you thought of Zhanna. Were you following her social media back when she was alive? I wasn't. I was only first made aware of her back when she died last year. So let me know if you have anything you want to share about how she lived and how she ate, any lifestyle things you want to share with me that I didn't cover here in this video. Hit like, share this video, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for all our content. Until next time, guys, I'll see you at the Friday live streams. Also, too, yeah, any of you raw fruitarians think what I'm saying here is complete heresy to your propaganda, come tell me this Friday or any Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just be civil and we could probably have a conversation. So until Friday, guys, I'll see you then. Remember, it doesn't suck being vegan.